Hey guys, it's Jack here and I'm back with a pretty exciting video today. This is the DJI Mini 3 Pro and it's my first ever drone. In this video we'll be doing an unboxing of the RC bundle along with some of the accessories that I've got to go along with it, and I'll give you some of my first impressions and show you some footage that I've shot with it. I will be doing a follow-up video going into more detail on some of the shooting modes and why I think this is such a great drone to get if you're a new flyer like myself. So definitely hit subscribe and the bell to get notified when it's posted. And comment any questions that you have or anything that you'd like to see in future Mini 3 videos. This is the first DJI drone since the Mavic Pro released in 2016 to feature a camera which can rotate into true portrait mode, which is perfect for sharing straight to social media. It has a new design over the previous Mini 2, which now includes tri-directional optical sensing and avoidance, plus an all-round improved camera system, all in a body weighing less than 249 grams, making it exempt from certain drone regulations in a lot of countries. So let's get started and take a look. So this is the DJI Mini 3 Pro with the RC controller. There are actually 3 bundles of this drone which you can purchase, the only difference being the controller which comes with the drone. More on that a little later. In the box we have the Mini 3 Pro wrapped up and sitting on top, the RC controller underneath, which is a brand new controller from DJI released alongside the new Mini 3, and a box with some documentation and some spare propeller blades. Looking at the drone first, my first impressions when unwrapping it was just how light and small it is. It's less than 249 grams, making it exempt from some drone regulations. And when it's folded up like this, you can see that it just fits in the palm of my hand, and it's so easy to carry around when traveling. You could easily stick this in a hoodie or a coat pocket. Just for some perspective, here it is next to my 12 Pro Max. It has about the same size footprint, while of course being a lot thicker. To keep the gimbal and the camera safe when you're moving it around on the go, it comes with this nifty little removable protector. And now we can get a better look at the updated design that DJI is using for the new Mini 3 Pro and the new camera system. The Mini 3 Pro now shoots 4K video up to 60 frames per second or up to 120 FPS in 1080p if you really want to get some nice smooth slow motion action shots. The camera has improved across the board versus the Mini 2 with a higher pixel count, now at 48 megapixels for stills, a bigger 1/1.3 inch CMOS sensor and a wider f1.7 aperture, making the Mini 3 Pro even better now in lower light. And as mentioned, the whole camera can now rotate into portrait mode for true vertical video. No need to crop or reframe your landscape video into portrait, you can just shoot portrait natively, which is really handy. Unfolding the drone, we get a better look at its true size in flight. On the rear, you'll find a micro SD card slot and a USB-C port for charging and data transfer, along with one intelligent flight battery already slotted into the back, which gives you around 34 minutes of flight time, depending on factors like wind conditions, or up to 47 minutes with the optional Intelligent Flight Battery Plus, only available in certain regions as it brings the drone's total flight weight over 249 grams. And we can see all the new sensors for obstacle avoidance, the first drone in the Mini series from DJI to have them. On the front there are 2 sensors facing forwards, it kind of makes it look like a frog's face. On the other side there are 2 more facing backwards for rear sensing when you're flying backwards. And on the bottom there are another 2 for detecting anything underneath the drone. There are no sensors on the side, so if you are flying or tracking a subject sideways, you do need to be aware of your surroundings and make sure that the drone won't crash into anything. Likewise, there are no sensors pointing directly upwards either. The sensors have quite a wide range, which may detect some obstacles, but you again have to be mindful of where you're flying if you're under some treetops, for example. Inside the white box from earlier, we have a screwdriver for removing the propellers, along with a set of spare propeller blades, 6 screws and a quick start guide plus a bunch of other documentation. And you get a USB-C to USB-C cable for charging and data transfer, but there's no power brick in the box, you are going to need to supply your own, and DJI recommends using a 30-watt charger to get the maximum charging speed. Over now to the new DJI RC controller which came with my bundle. This controller has a built-in screen on the front for viewing the live feed from the drone's camera while you're flying. Alternatively, there is a cheaper bundle which comes with the RC N1 controller which doesn't have a screen, so you do need to connect your phone to it and use the DJI Fly app while you're in the air. Personally, I didn't want to have to use my phone. I'd rather have a built-in screen. iPhone screens will often dim to 50% brightness in prolonged usage, particularly in warm weather too, which would make flying using a phone a bit more difficult. The screen on the new RC controller maintains a constant 700 nits of brightness, and in my usage I've not had any screen dimming yet, which is great. It's bright enough to be viewable in most conditions, but I do wish that it were just a tiny bit brighter. The glossiness can also make it tricky to see the screen at times, so I might get a matte protector. The RC feels great in the hand. I can reach all the buttons and dials with ease, and it's really easy to hold with the rubber grips. Plus it feels very well balanced and lightweight. I've not had any tiredness or fatigue from using this for long periods. On the rear there are two customizable buttons which you don't get with the RC N1 controller, along with two control dials on the shoulders. You only get one of these with the RC N1. Stored on the back are two metal joysticks which screw on into place. It's really nice that these can come off and they make the controller easier to slip into a bag or pocket. And again, for comparison's sake, the built-in screen is just shy of 6 inches on the diagonal, making it a little bit smaller than the screen on a 12 Pro Max. You'll notice there are no external antennas, and that's because they're all inside the body, making for a nice clean design. And range-wise, the controller has been pretty great in my use. In built-up areas, you can get up to about 3 kilometers of range, and in low interference areas like at the seaside, you can potentially get up to 12 kilometers according to DJI. I've definitely not pushed it that far yet, so I can't really comment on its maximum range, but I can say that you do need line of sight with the drone to get a good connection. Flying over a hill and down the other side will result in losing connection to the drone, causing it to automatically fly back home to you. The RC controller battery lasts around 4 hours, which is much longer than the drone's 34-minute flight time, so you should get a good amount of use from it between charges. In total, the bundle with the RC controller costs $910 or £860, or if you go for the RC N1 bundle, it's $760 or £710. There is also a third option with no controller at all if you already own an RC N1, and that's available for $670 or £640. I've been having a ton of fun with this drone so far, and here's some more random bits of footage that I've shot. I have posted some clips to the channel Instagram over at @JCKRGB, so definitely head over there to see more. Like I said, this is my first drone, so there has been a lot for me to learn, but it's definitely not been too difficult to pick up, and the obstacle sensing does give me some peace of mind knowing that the drone will do its best to try and avoid any obstacles that are in its path. But it doesn't have side sensors, which is really important to remember when you're flying sideways. I may have had a small incident with a tree, but it's all good, it's all fine, the drone survived, and I learnt my lesson, and let's pretend that it never happened. It also has a bunch of automatic camera moves it can perform with master shots and quick shots, which are really helpful for beginners who are still learning to fly manually but want to get some usable shots with minimal effort. With these, you just select a subject and the drone will go off and perform the move on its own, and the resulting shots look pretty cool. I do plan on going more in depth on these modes in future videos, so definitely hit subscribe and stick around for those. Now, along with the drone, I've also picked up some accessories which I think are pretty much essential to get if you're thinking of picking up the Mini 3 Pro. The first is the Fly More Kit, and this is a bundle which provides you with a few extra things that just makes the whole flying experience better in my opinion. In the bundle we get this bag which is big enough for the drone, the controller, everything you get in the Fly More Kit with some space left over for a few other bits. It also comes with this battery charging hub for charging 3 batteries at a time, one after another, and it includes 2 extra batteries which you can swap out when you're out flying to boost your flight time. As when charging through the drone itself, you'll need a 30-watt power supply for the hub to charge at maximum charging speed, but the hub will actually charge a battery slightly faster than when charging one through the drone, taking 56 minutes versus 64. It has USB-C input and USB-A output, so you can charge something else while you're charging the batteries too, and there are indicator lights so you can see the status of each of the batteries. In the little black cardboard wallet there's some more documentation, but nothing too exciting. And inside the lid of the bag we have a screwdriver and even more spare propellers, which are good to keep with you in case you need to swap one out when you're away from home, along with a USB-A to USB-C cable. There's also another pocket on the outside of the bag for storing something slim. The bag is plenty big enough to hold everything that you need when you're out flying: the drone, the controller, the hub and some spare batteries. The latter being really important to have, I think. It's really easy to eat through the 34-minute flight time, particularly for me at the moment as I'm still learning and getting to grips with flying. Having the 2 extra batteries triples my flight time, so I can spend more time in the air getting shots and practicing and not having to go home and charge the battery. The Fly More Kit costs $190 in the US or £160 in the UK. And lastly, something else I've picked up which I also think is really important to have is an ND filter set, and this one's made by DJI. With this we get a plastic case holding the 3 ND filters included in this set, an ND16, ND64 and an ND256. There's some included documentation showing how to remove the lens ring from the drone to mount one of these NDs to the camera. You just give it an anti-clockwise twist to remove and do the opposite to mount. If you're wondering what ND filters are and what they do, I have made a video going into these before about using them with your phone, but the same principles apply here, the same with any camera really. I'll link a card to that video in the top right if you'd like to learn more. But in short, ND filters are like sunglasses for your camera. They reduce the amount of light coming into the sensor, allowing us to choose slower shutter speeds to get smoother, more cinematic footage. In general, you want your shutter speed to be double your frame rate, and that gives a nice natural motion blur to your footage and makes it look less stuttery and choppy compared to higher shutter speeds. The filter set from DJI covers a decent range, but it would be nice to have some in-between filters at ND32 and ND128. I found that sometimes it's hard to get my shutter speed to exactly hit double the frame rate, so it's very much an ND starter pack for now. One slight annoyance though is that the lens ring from the drone is much thicker than the NDs, so it doesn't fit properly in the case for storage when you're using one of the filters, which just seemed like a bit of an oversight here. They really should have made the lens ring thinner or made the case a bit thicker. But they all work well and as expected, and I've not seen any hazing or vignetting while using them, and I've shot some really nice smooth footage. I'm looking forward to see if DJI will make some more filters and to see what options some third parties come up with too. The DJI ND filter set retails for $55 or £45. So far I've been really impressed with the Mini 3 Pro. It's my first drone and there's so much to learn, but I am picking it up pretty quickly I think. It's great for beginners and the footage looks amazing from such a tiny drone. It's really fun to fly and to capture all these new angles and shots which I've just not been able to before from the air. If you're thinking of picking one up, I'd definitely recommend going for the bundle with the new RC controller. The built-in screen is really convenient and you don't have to worry about it dimming like you would if you were using your phone, or draining your phone's battery, or any distractions from notifications. The Fly More Kit is a must-have if you're wanting to spend more time in the air with the extra batteries. The hub makes charging them all a breeze, and the bag is perfect for holding everything and keeping it all together when you're travelling. The ND filter set can take your footage up a notch by allowing you to shoot at slower shutter speeds and smoothing out your footage and giving it a nice cinematic motion blur. All in all, I'm having a great time with the Mini 3 Pro and I can't wait to shoot with it some more and make some more videos and show you guys. If this video has helped you out, you can let me know by hitting the like button. And if you'd like to see more drone and tech content from myself, then hit subscribe and the bell. If you've got any questions or there's anything you'd like to see in my next drone video, you can let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching and I will see you next time.